Well, day 2 of practice in the books here at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. And Adam King, Nicole, Shearin, here's the bottom line. I like this Ohio State football team for one reason, and one reason because, A, they all passed the look test, but these guys all have an edge. They've been hearing all the nonsense that's out there, the doubters that are out there, and they're always taking shots. They didn't like the way it ended a year ago. And I think this team has something to prove, and I see it with these guys. And I just like their attitude, their moxie, and they do have a chip. And as Urban Meyer would say, he always loved a football team that had an edge.
I think Ryan Day does a very good job of making sure his teams always have an edge. I asked him at Big Ten Media Day, do you use last season? And he said we don't really need the added motivation, but it's there. The word that Ryan Day always uses is scars when he talks about what a team goes through. You can't, just forget about the scars from last year. Julian Sayin's not going to forget about that pick 6 against Miami. But this is a new team. It's a lot of new faces. This is our first chance to look at that. And we talk about the 51 new guys. That's so many new faces, but you wouldn't know it by watching the first 2 days of fall camp. They have acclimated so well to Ohio State. They've kind of taken over here. When you look at guys like Devin McEwen, who's now just fully in the rotation as a wide receiver 1, Kyle Parker, a little banged up. But when you look at so many of those guys, Earl Little Jr. has taken the lead on defense. This is a whole different Buckeye squad.
And Nicole, they worked so hard in the offseason. There really is no offseason. But give credit to Coach Mick, the summer workouts and everything. So much of that was building the brotherhood, and right now, spot on. Now, they haven't played a game. They got to do it in a game. But right now, they look to be on the same page.
Well, and that's what I was about to say is that, for us looking at it at fall camp, yeah, it looks like these guys have known each other for years, but it's because they use that offseason to build that chemistry, because the reality is a lot of these guys, they weren't even on campus this time last year. So, yeah, they need to use that time to build that chemistry. But, Adam, going off of your point earlier, when we look back 2 years ago when Ohio State won a national championship, they faced adversity, they then plowed through postseason play. I almost like the fact that they didn't end last season the way they wanted to. I think they don't need the motivation, as Ryan Day said, but it's that necessary added oomph, if you want to call it, for this year.
The other thing, and we'll do a little breakdown now, to me, the biggest thing right now, and if you talk to Ryan Day, I think he will talk about it, is consistency with his offensive line. They did a great job of bringing those guys back. I love those guys. They're a year older. I love their attitude. But this team will go as far as this offensive line takes it. I mean, Julian Sayin is, I think, going to be outstanding this year. But you got to protect your quarterback. We can't have him getting hit. I know a lot of people wanted to see him run at the end of last season. The guy wasn't healthy. That wasn't an option. And I think that he's put weight on it, and I think he is going to run a little bit. But if he's running for his life back there, if he's taking unnecessary hits, that's not going to work. You can't get the ball to the best receivers in the country. So the O-line, it's critical that they are where they need to be, and I think they will be.
Well, I think if you look at the 3 big pieces for me, Carson Hinsman, Luke Montgomery, and Austin Sareveld, those 3 guys, Luke Montgomery earned preseason All-American honors yesterday, which I thought was truly amazing, and he should. But that is the kind of talent Ohio State has on the offensive line. And you can add in a guy like Phillip Daniels, who plays with an edge unlike I've ever seen from an offensive lineman. So, yes, this line is what's going to be relied on. But there are so many people out there worried about the offensive line. That is one of my, other than like what it may actually look like come game day.
Well, the guy that worries is the head coach.
Well, yes, but
I don't know if worry's the right word, though.
Got to stay healthy, got to be consistent.
Yes.
But there is, like, when I go out there and watch, there's 5 other position groups that I want to see more than the offensive line, because other than how they're tinkering with it and who might actually get the roles, I have confidence in those guys because they've been here, they've done it.
I will say, too, going off of that, not only does it give, us looking at this team confidence, but talking with Brandon Innes and some guys in that receiver room, it gives them confidence knowing that they've got that anchor point to start off the year when there are 51 new faces on this roster and there's a lot of new guys coming in. But when you have an O-line that's been here for a few years, not only is Julian Sayin feeling pretty good, but the rest of this offense should be feeling good, too.
The thing with the O-line, and I think we can all agree, the running game needs to be better. And, I think and Ryan talked about the fact that they have some talent in that running back room. but we need home run hitters. If you look at the great teams Ohio State has had, when they had their great runs, Zeke Elliott, some of those home run runs, they need that. And I don't know if it's Bo Jackson. I think it can be, but they need that. They need to hit the hole. They need to take it. And that is, I think, Arthur Smith is one of the biggest jobs he has, is to create that running game into home runs.
You know, I think back to Chip Kelly, and that's one thing that he did such a good job at in that year. Now, Chip Kelly had the added boost of having Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins.
Well, they're home run hitters.
Yes, but he did such a great job of coming in and shaping that offense to have those big run plays. And that is why Arthur Smith is here. You just said it, Dom. That's why they brought him in. Ryan Day has talked about the explosive plays in the run game time and time again. You can't have a guy getting tackled, arm tackled on the 15-yard line, and it's the difference between you winning a Big Ten championship or not, possibly. And so you talk about Bo Jackson. I think Bo Jackson's got a lot to prove.
Yep.
I think people around here can see that. He has the talent. He proved a lot last year. But Isaiah West has been so fun to watch in fall camp. He has been just kind of has this burst, this shiftiness to him. And Isaiah West showed pockets last year of what makes him so good. I remember the Wisconsin game. People started to learn his name. I think this year it's not going to be RB1 Bo Jackson. It's going to be RB1 Bo and Isaiah West, really 1A and 1B.
Well, and Isaiah's been going with the ones from what we've seen so far at camp. I think, again, it's fall camp, but that does say a lot. And I go back to Dom during spring ball when Isaiah West talked to the media, and after that you turned to me and you said, I like that kid.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the juice, he's got the fire, and he's just so explosive that I think he's really going to be a difference maker.
I'm giving Bo Jackson love, but Isaiah's right there.
Yeah.
And here's the bottom line. They both can play.
Yeah.
We saw that with Trey Henderson. We saw that when he and my man, they were carrying, but they need that element. They got to have that home run. With that said, also, Julian Sayin's got to run this year, and he knows it.
He knows,
and he's put on the weight, and hopefully he stays healthy. But if that element is there where he can run, and instead of throwing the ball out of bounds, instead of like we saw some of that, and again, I don't think he was healthy at the end of last year.
No, he
I
wasn't.
think that
His ankle was very banged up.
And I think that figured in. This year, if he can run, and he got to stay healthy, but Ryan also said they're going to need depth in the quarterback position because you're going to get hit in that position.
I think when you look at Julian running, the one thing that I don't know what the word, not frustrates me, the one thing that I don't like is that Texas is so close. And I think Julian using his legs is going to be something that we see progressively grow throughout the year, because it's not something you can't help train it at fall camp, because he's not going to get hit. You can't.
You need it in a game.
Yeah, you don't have a guy running downhill at you in fall camp that could take you out in a heartbeat. He's not going to hit you in fall camp. Your quarterback's not. I mean, I think Ryan played a little bit of that in spring ball a couple years ago. I don't think we'll go down that road again. But that is the one thing that I think is frustrating. And also, we're not talking about 20-yard runs. We're not talking about Julian Sayin breaking open JT Barrett against Minnesota. This is 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. What he did against Michigan when he ran out of bounds.
It's keeping the defense honest
and
making them respect the quarterback. If they don't respect him to run, that's the whole big deal.
Absolutely.
So he has to run. And I got news. If they beat Texas, he's going to have to do that.
The key is that he knows it. Like, this is not a secret. We talked to him at Big Ten Media Days, and, it was funny. I kind of asked him, with Arthur Smith coming in, I feel like we're going to see you use your legs a little more, and he kind of laughed. Like, he knows, and he's ready to do that.
And the leader. The other thing that I love with this guy, I mean, the two leaders of this football team right now, from my eyes watching, are Julian and Jeremiah Smith. I love both the way they're handling things and whatever. But Julian's like a different man out there right now. He's getting in guys' faces. He's talking. He's high-fiving. He's coaching up his teammates. He's taking the coaching. I mean, I think he is about ready to become the full deal this year. I think I'm expecting huge things.
I mean, it's crazy to think. You say you're expecting him to be the full deal. Well, he was a Heisman finalist last year. And I think we sometimes forget that.
Well, I think he's a Heisman winner this year.
No, and I think that's really the next step, which is kind of crazy, because I think we, as the local media, as people that see them every day, can see so many different worlds where Julian can get better. But from a national perspective, Julian is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, far none. He is, without question, a quarterback that has the arm talent, I'm just watching him at practice. He can put the ball on a dot. I do want to say, Jeremiah Smith dropped a pass. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Ball hit him on the hands. I'm worried about him. I think maybe you bench him for game 1. Send a message there.
Maybe game 2.
Yeah. No, I just think those two guys, and we haven't even talked about Chris Henry Jr. and Brock Boyd, and we haven't even talked about the defense. I mean, the talent on that defense, people are so worried about that. People come up to me all the time, Dom, and they say, well, the defense, it's young. We lost a lot of guys on that defense, so they're going to struggle. I don't think so.
Also, it happens every year.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost, 7 starters from the defense last season? That's a lot of guys, but that's how it works. I mean, Dom, you said it yesterday. They don't rebuild, they reload. That's how it goes, and there's a lot of talk also about this secondary. No more Caleb Downs. Okay, they have other guys like Jalen McClain, Devin Sanchez, Terry Moore, Earl Little Jr. getting in the mix. He's going to be a huge guy also on the defense this year.
I am?
Not
Thank you.
you.
Oh,
Sorry,
you
Adam.
pointed at me. I was very excited.
Yes, newsflash, guys. Adam's joining the team.
Yes.
No,
don't
but
want that.
you're right, Adam. I mean, it is crazy because there's stars all over the place. We could sit here for hours and talk about
Well,
it.
the best player in the country is Jeremiah Smith. And
Yeah.
I
Yes.
expect him, and I think he pretty much said this is going to be it for him.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to say this is going to be it for Julian. He may need another year, but in the world of NIL, he may want to come back because he may get a nice payday next year.
All
But
right,
the
we'll
bottom
jump ahead to that in a little bit.
But the bottom line is this: you got the best receiver in the country. I think Brandon Ennis wants to prove something.
Yeah.
I think Chris Henry wants to prove something. And, as long as you keep your quarterback clean, I don't think defenses are going to have to pick their poison. That's why if you have a running game going, that's why if you have a quarterback that can run, that's why the receivers, how do you double team? What are you going to do? How are you going to do? Because Ohio State, I believe we're going to witness them picking teams apart this year.
And I think one thing that gave Julian comfort last year was that amazing defense. I think that this year it's going to be a very similar thing. I think Matt Patricia, we don't talk enough about on that side of the ball. He's no longer implementing a scheme. He's not spending the spring practice trying to make sure the guys know the scheme. He's spending it refining what he's been working on, or refining what worked in year 1 and what didn't work in year 1. And if you're watching this and you're like, well, I don't really know any of the guys on defense that are going to be stars other than Devin Sanchez and Jalen McClain and Peyton Pierce, just remember, you really didn't know Arvell Reese's name. You didn't know he was going to be a top 10 pick. Guys like Quay Rusa, I think, are going to be massive for this team. Obviously, Kenyatta Jackson. A lot of people are high on Bo Atkinson. There's just so many. When you go down the list and really look at it, the young linebackers, Riley Pettijohn, Alford, there's so much talent on this team. It's almost endless. I love what Matt Patricia said yesterday. It's going to be a platoon. Yeah. This year, it's not going to be 3 top 10 picks or 3 top 11 picks. It's going to be a platoon of guys.
Here's the bottom line with the defense. And defense wins championship.
There it is.
Did you come up with that?
And I will say it again. Matt Patricia all last season was playing chess and everyone else was playing checkers. What he does the best is he looks at his talent. And as the game's going on, we have talked, and I love talking X's and O's with this guy. They'll see something in the game and the adjustments that he can make on the fly to put his talent in the position to do it's amazing. Here's the bottom line, folks. Everybody was worried when, we had 30-some guys in the transfer portal. The world's ending. Let me tell you, they've been playing football here a long time. And this thing is at a level now that I've never seen before. This is like an NFL camp with the fans and everything. Ryan Day has this thing humming. This football team has talent. And these guys have been waiting in the wings. Heck, they just got a bunch of them out of the transfer portal. These guys are all here for a reason. And remember, when a guy goes into the portal, did Ohio State really want him? Did they really want him? So I am excited to see this defense. Matt Patricia is a genius, a defensive genius. I love what he does. I love what Timmy Walton does. I love what James Laurinaitis does. These guys, and Larry Johnson, I love Larry Johnson because he teaches toughness in the trenches.
Also, something going off of Coach Walt that Devin Sanchez said day one, he said, Walt makes the comfortable uncomfortable. And that's key, I think, with this defense. I mean, his example was going up against Jeremiah Smith every day in practice, but I think it's true. You can't get comfortable, because the moment you're comfortable, you're going to find out. And I loved what he said about him, that that's kind of his coaching motto, and he instills it in all these guys.
And you know the best thing about this? There's 3 NFL coaches coaching this team. 2 of them were head coaches. I mean, where does that come from? How do you think about that? That's absolutely amazing. Ryan Day, I will say it again, is the best coach in college football. He has the best assistant coaches in college football. They got the biggest program. You think about this deal they just made with Chase. It makes perfect sense. You're talking about the largest athletic program, the most loved football team in America. I'm sorry, Michigan, I don't want to hear it. You people out there don't want. Ohio State is
feels
loved.
personal.
It is, because all I still hear from these people, and they're running their mouths. That's great. And the SEC, yeah, your best days are ahead. Keep talking whatever you want. And I just love that Ohio State
You going to get in on the Georgia game from 5 years ago?
Yeah.
He is Dom Tiberi.
They took our title that year.
Okay.
That if that was not targeting, what was it?
There it is.
What was it?
There it is.
What
I've only
was
heard
it?
it ever since I got here.
Oh, Georgia. You know what? Georgia and Alabama. We saw what happened when Urban played them, didn't we? How'd that turn out? They're still having nightmares about Zeke. Remember that?
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
Just because they run their mouths. And here, I'm coming back at you. Nice seeing you. This is Adam King. This is Nicole Shearin. I'm Dom Tiberi, still enjoying retirement. We'll see you later.
Clearly.